Hello, and welcome to another scene in Hong Kong. Today we have the changelings in the changeling market. It is a very... I've never had to describe the changeling market before. Fuck me. It's a very open space. There are vendors and buildings all over. There are eschus selling coffee and antiques from all across the world. There are Boggans selling wonderful pieces of, kind of like handkerchiefs and stuff. There are a couple stalls, unfortunately, that are crushed and that knockers and others are helping to rebuild, some of them wearing the colors of House Dougal. And, of course, there are paw prints of a dragon. Everyone knows, as the rumor has been going around, that there is a dragon that will occasionally come and play in the market. These sounds are one of excitement, and everyone seems very cheerful today. The dragon hasn't crushed any stalls recently. The changelings in the city have been very good with keeping it in a clear area off to the side where it has been being trained and watched. And there we go.
Okay. Do we want to do an intro order or just intro as we go?
Feel free to intro whenever.
Okay. Arbane is already at the market. He's helping rebuild the stalls, doing a lot of the the more mundane work, while the actual craftsmen do like the directing and everything. So he's not in any of his armor or anything. He's because doing work outside and everything. Helping set up stalls and everything. He's just laughing, joking with the commoners. He seems pretty chill with them, at least on his end, at least.
The next person can feel free to intro.
All right, Bainu is going to be walking around. He's more or less trying to see for signs of incursions. Seeing if there's any nightmares nearby or if any Thelain are dumb enough to come here and start shit. He's looking very much still wearing a Squire's apparel and his sash, and being all, since we're in the dreaming, being all big blue with that blazing golden hair of his just completely shining around. And that's what Bunny's doing.
You know what? Screw it. From above, it starts as a rumble, and then becomes a roar, as from the cloud of the dreaming bursts down this wonderful green dragon. Look at how pretty he is.
Arbane just sighs. Already again. Starts directing people out of the market.
Bainu does the same thing. He shakes himself out and flips his gauntlets on.
And Arbane asks if anyone brought a longbow.
One of the, let's just say there is a strolling Sidhe. One of the Sidhe will offer you their longbow. Everyone else seems to be pretty upset, and they're all trying to close up and move their shops as quickly as they can so they will not be crushed. A couple of them, you probably assume they're childlings. They're just kind of running around screaming, "There's a dragon, there's a dragon." But everyone else is trying to calm them down.
Okay, so when that happens, Arbane is just going to tell the other Sidhe to not to train his arrows on the dragon, but don't fire until they find its intention. And he's just going to run over, scoop up the childlings in his arms, and just run them to safety.
The dragon itself will not pay much attention to the market. He will sweep over and kind of circle around it once. Before, you said that there was an area clear to the side, so it will come in for a very gentle landing. The only collateral damage that might be caused is when its huge wings come to the ground. There will be a general swooshing of air current off that might knock over some detritus, like some cups or some tankards or whatever else have you that might be set on precarious places.
Keep forgetting to put Bunny's title on this thing.
And then, Arbane will put the childlings down and head over, looking like a very majestic she with his shirtless, muscles showing in the wind, sword on his side. He will march over to greet the person with the other she with the bow.
Bunny's going to be going as well, but he's basically he's not gonna let Arbane get hurt. So he's like, it looks like he's ready to pick you up and throw you behind him at any moment.
Okay.
And yeah, the gauntlets are all nice and golden, and they're on fire now because he believes there's a threat.
You will see as you approach closer that the dragon has a harness and a saddle that sits right at the cusp where its long serpentine neck meets its body. The occupant of its saddle has, however, vacated the saddle and is currently standing next to the dragon's head as he pets it with one hand.
Arbane just goes, "Ho, who goes there, stranger?"
The figure straightens and kind of quirks its head to the side as he takes off the gauntleted helm or the armored helm that it has pictured there, and he says, "Oh, so sorry for the out of phrase. So sorry for the dramatic entrance. A pleasure to make your acquaintance. Kathos Nightshade Aplianan, at your service."
Out of character, are you a page?
No. He's not wearing any rank insignia whatsoever.
Bunny's going to look at you over and say, "You're a commoner of the Lianon?"
They call me the drag.
Bunny's going to look, before you answer, Bunny's going to look over at Arbane and said, "Is that possible?"
Arbane kind of tilts his head to the side and says, "It is, but it's usually not she. If they're in a house, they're usually of title. House Lianon, yes?"
Oddly enough, yes, I do. Nice to meet you.
And he steps forward. "Squire Arbane Goldhelm." Nah.
Bunny's going to snap his wrists and the gauntlets will turn back to normal bracers on his arm. "Squire Binu ap Beaumain." I almost thought you were
at this point,
attacking
Arbane.
nightmare.
Oh, no, nothing so melodramatic. I apologize, he says as he pets the dragon's snout with one hand. Conrad can be a bit, how's the phrase, dramatic at times, but he's harmless.
At this point, Arbane will just signal for the archer to relax at this point.
And he does, so he's giving a very nasty look, as are a couple other people who started to panic towards the new changeling.
You have to understand that some little boy dreamed up a dragon and it's been playing around here, so the people are a little worried when dragons suddenly show up.
Oh, I know. That's why I'm here. Hence the name, the Dragon Tamer and all. Nice to meet you.
You want
Arbane-
to tame the dragon?
Arbane just approaches a bit. He stays out of or anything, crosses his arms over his chest. He does have very nice muscles. He's very impressive muscles. Not like the troll, but for a she, he's fairly muscled, and he says.
Yeah, since the troll's running around with strength 6. So
Yeah. He just crosses his arms over his shoulder, over his chest, and says, "Sure, with the reports of the newest nobles in our kingdom, the commoners and the others were quite, shall I say, startled to see a new dragon. And to hear its riders of House Lianon, was, I'm sure, quite a shock.
Oh, that's entirely understandable, he will say. For the record, he has a very musical quality to his voice as he reaches up and once again continues to pet the dragon right under its scaly maw and says, well, you have to understand that things like this, dragons and the like, they're not born every day. As a matter of fact, because the dreaming is, well, shrinking or contracting, the birth of anything that special is very rare, so I came to see it with my own eyes.
I'm gonna roll a perception empathy on that
Okay.
because I'm very suspicious of the Unseelie. 3 successes.
You know what? Because he's unseated, he will totally oppose that roll, even if he's telling the truth.
Oh, god damn.
Yeah.
That goes to Defender.
Yep, I'm totally telling the truth.
Yup. He'll narrow his eyes, look him up and down just with a quick flick of his eyes. And we must introduce you to the local nobles.
You also need to know about the
Your-
situation with the wall.
Your companion, Conrad. You said his name was?
Yes.
He kind of looks around and then he'll actually phone up his allies. He's got a troll friend and a sloth friend. He will get a hold of them either through a messenger or whatever he has to do, and just have them come and basically keep the dragon entertained as an honored, quote unquote, honored guest. And when that's done, he'll just turn to Canthor and say,
That won't be necessary.
if we have to entertain any such as your companion, it's not every day one meets a dragon who is friendly, after all.
As you say that, sorry, I'm currently working on the dragon sheet. I was just told to spend points on read. So as it stands, the dragon will quirk its head to the side and will basically contract incredibly quickly until standing before you is basically a rather odd-looking male, what appears to be a male teenager with bright green hair, green eyes, wearing a green trench coat.
Urbane will nod and then turn to head off to the local nobles' court, and he will just say, "Come."
Okay. I guess I'm going that way. Sorry, Pete. By the way, I'd like to say I'm really sorry if we startled you. He kind of he looks at the crowd and he says, "Please, how best to do this? I'm just really sorry. Didn't mean to startle you." Since Kim is kind of the ST here, would you let him make a persuasion or the charisma expression to kind of make them, kind of like, oh, he's not so bad. He said he was sorry.
Yeah, you can go ahead and do that.
Yeah. Hashtag just Leanna.
Probably open up the dice roller.
That is 4 successes.
A couple of the older ones are still kind of grouchy, but it seems overall that they accept his apology and they go back to what they were doing. Shortly afterwards, the kind of hubbub of conversation returns once again as everyone continues buying and selling and trading.
Okay, and Arbane is leading the group to whatever noble is in control of the changeling market. Don't know who that is.
That's a good fucking question.
I think it's the Knocker Baron.
I do too. Let me see.
Now we get to see how curmudgeon-y Kim can be.
I mean, it's not even just curmudgeon-y. It's just like, because I can play a knocker. It's just, I gotta figure out, because I don't think it's a woman.
I mean, if not, you can just kind of say one of the barons just for now, and then like talk it over with Kim and refine it.
Yeah, you know what?
If it doesn't say who it is.
Yeah, screw it. Let's just say you guys go to the. Oh, I don't want to play an ad. There's an Eshu Baron. Let's just say y'all go to
Okay.
her.
Right, yes. Arbane, before they go, is going to get out of his working, he's going to put a shirt on and everything before they go. Because they're probably going to be interrupting court of some sort. And will put on his squire sash and head off, leading the group over that way.
By the way, sorry, what house did Bainu say he was a member of?
Beaumain.
Which is Beaumain.
Beaumain are the Nightmare Hunters and the Explorers.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
Basically, he punches the darkness.
And the darkness feels it.
Yep.
Yeah, Arbane will announce their entrance to the court when they get to the court.
There you see a very beautiful woman. She kind of looks up from what she was doing and gives you a sweet smile. Says, "Oh, yes. Is there something that you require?" Oh,
Bainu will appropriately place a courtly bow and say, "Forgive us, Baroness. We have a newcomer to the city that decided to fly his dragon into the Changeling Market."
Oh, I see. Please, do come in. We should tell him all that is going on in the city.
He's going to stand up and he's going to motion for everybody else to come in.
Out of character, I haven't got a politics. So I know this baron's name, this baroness's name.
Yes. She is the Baron Eshu from House the Non. Her name is Kenna Ein.
Okay. Arbane will enter with Canthos behind him. He will make sure that's how they enter, and then his dragon behind him, and bow to the Baroness. Baroness McKenna, we have a newcomer of House Lianen or Domain, and so I wished to bring him to you, as he may introduce himself to you. He made quite a show in your domain, I should say.
Oh, how so?
No gesture for Kenthos to explain, stepping to the side, very elegantly.
Okay. Hi, Kim. Just a quick point, because this is important. I'm going to use the House Lianen house boon on the Baroness. So...
unless you have title and a part of that house, you don't have the boon or the flaw.
Yeah.
You have to at least be a squire of the house to use the boon or the flaw, according to everything I've read.
Yeah.
According to Tiger, no, you don't. If you are a she, that negates it. All she are considered to be full members of houses, even if they do not possess title. That's why if you actually look on my sheet, I have the Lianen house boon and such. I actually figured into my stats.
That actually would make sense, though, because of the...
It even is written, including the Lianen house boon in my stats. But as I say, this is if this changes, that's entirely fine. That was just what I was told. So, pretty great. Anyway, if you'd rather I not use it until you've checked, I'm also entirely fine with that.
Go ahead.
Okay. It basically just means that any social roll I have to make with her is at a -1 diff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He will basically sweep his cape back, and he's got appearance 4, so he's also pretty. He will go down, and his actual spec is beautiful, and he will go down to one knee, and he will say, "My apologies in all of these things. My apologies in all of these things, Baroness. However, it was the easiest way to come to your fair domain, and after all, it is so wonderful to fly. I didn't hurt anyone, just I'm led to understand that you've been having dragon problems, and as they call me the Dragon Tamer, I said that I would come and lend my assistance.
She, she looks over at you, smiling. She is also at 4 with a specialty in entrancing.
Ooh.
So she will smile and say, yes, we have been having, I wouldn't say problems with this dragon, but he has certainly been very lively when it comes to playing, especially in the market, and unfortunately many shopkeepers, well, I'm sure you saw the damage that has been done.
Yes, it's unfortunate, but oftentimes you have to understand when they're young, they simply don't know their own strength and size, and it can often lead to both broken things and sad places.
I understand this entirely, but that still does not stop the people from being upset.
No.
I'm
doesn't.
confused about a thing, though.
Hmm?
I'm confused about a thing, though. Your dragon
Mm-hmm.
seems very well-mannered, very polite, but he's from over there, and he's going to point west.
Correct.
The gold dragon is from over here, and he's going to point east.
Correct.
Doesn't that mean that they're different temperaments, have different abilities, different personalities, and can't be trained the same way?
You can see him, he kind of contemplates for a moment. He says, in a manner of speaking, you're not exactly wrong, but you're not exactly right. You see, they're both made of essentially the same thing, the same, how to phrase. They're both made to be both terrible and wonderful all at once. You're right in the sense that they can't be trained the same way, but that's not, and you wouldn't necessarily train an Eastern dragon as much as you would. I didn't really train Conrad here. Conrad just learned. It's about teaching, not training, and showing them what they are and what they can be. So that's what I do. They call me the Dragon Tamer, I guess, because it was a funny nickname that stuck, though it's not exactly accurate.
But Eastern dragons are representations of the Imperial will. They're not the sort of thing that takes teaching. They're the sort of thing that takes respect.
Exactly. However, you forget that in order to rule and in order to express the will, you first need to understand what it is. There's no harm in trying, right?
Suppose not. I just do yourself a favor, do it away from the Hessian. The Hessian tend to take the dragons very seriously.
Oh, I see. I met some of those in the market in London, but I've never actually met one properly. But I look forward to doing so.
Well, they already have a sour taste in their mouth because of stuff. So be on your best behavior, and he's going to shake a finger.
Okie dokie.
And yes, I'm a squire. I can do that to you.
He doesn't seem fazed by it. I'm going to raise a hand here and ask, why do they have a sour taste in their mouth?
They don't like us being here, and something about our glamour and their chi doesn't mix well, and they're basically the right to speak for our people and their people was given to our leader and not their leader, so they feel slighted in that regard as well. So, yeah. Also, apparently somebody tried to kill one of their people. Wasn't one of us. It was something else, but they're a little miffed at that as well.
Oh, dearie my.
They're going to like us in their land anyways, of course.
Well, I guess we're kind of the visitors, aren't we?
I wonder if the dead people have to deal with that with the other Eastern dead people.
Oh, dearie my. But anyways, I'm really sorry. My apologies, Baroness. So that's why I'm here, and it's a pleasure to be here. And if I may say, thank you for receiving me. He will smile. Winning smile.
If anyone anyone was watching her while you guys went among and started talking to yourself, it seemed she was kind of amused, but at the same time was a little, annoyed that, this conversation wasn't had before her work was interrupted. But once again, she will smile and say, well, I thank you for announcing your presence here. If you require a place to stay, I'm sure there's a room available here. Almost, I'm certain of it.
I thank you for your hospitality, and I'm happy to accept.
Well, when you are done with your daily matters, speaking with Squire Binu and Squire Arbe, then simply find... Oh, shit. Hold on. I can't think of a name for this guy. Find, yeah, I'm sure she is wandering around here somewhere. And she will show you to your room.
Okay. He's going to deposit Conrad in the room. Before he deposits Conrad in the room, he's going to find the biggest book he can find, place it in the room with Conrad. Conrad is now happy. He closes the door.
They're all leaving. Binu hasn't decided that he's leaving yet. He's going to bow to the Baroness and say, my apologies for disturbing you at this time. Squire Arbane felt that it was best to introduce him to a member of the court as soon as possible, and didn't really have time to brief him on everything. But I will get him briefed, or I'll pick him up and throw him through a wall. Does that sound okay?
Perhaps without all of the violence, but I appreciate your honesty. And it is no problem. You are correct. He should have been announced to the court, and thus he has.
Binu's going to nod. To be fair, Baroness, I haven't had to throw anybody through a wall in about 3 weeks, so I'm getting better. He's going to hold up a thumb.
She will smile softly, kind of full of amusement.
He'll once more bow, and then he'll take his leave as is appropriate for a squire leaving a baron.
And Evan, a small Boggin, clearly of Asian descent, would have come out and, shown you to your room. And then when you asked, considering this is an issue, there probably was a book, but it's just full of stories.
That's fine. The dragon likes reading anything, and we'll keep him busy. So yep, he just casually throws the book into the room, onto the desk, closes the door, and he's just like, okay, I'm good now. All is good. And he will then go and find Binu, because apparently I have to be told things and such. And things and such. And things and such.
You said this Baroness was Danon, yes? Danon?
She is, yes.
So she's another filthy unseelie. Okay, got it. I'm just kidding. But
dare you say it to her face?
Nah, I guess it isn't to her face. That's why I'm gonna go. Arbane is going to follow Binu, and as he's walking with Binu and they're waiting for Canthus to come back, he'll just kind of suggest that we can't quite trust someone new. We should take them to the Gwydion. Maybe have the Gwydion talk to them. If their truth powers
My bad.
Ooh, sorry, I didn't realize this. So it's actually a really big deal that I'm under this person's hospitality. That's pretty cool.
Bunny's going to hold up his hand. First of all, Baroness is afforded some respect regardless of which court she's in. Second of all, you're right. A Gwydion would be best able to ascertain his potentiality in the city. I guess we could take him to see Sir William Harcourt, but Sir Harcourt has duties currently for the Duke. So I guess from there we go to the Baron for the House Gwydion. Don't really know them.
Out of character. Anything about the Baroness? She's way too she for that.
Oh, never mind. Then cut that out. He'll just say, Well, I don't know too many of the Gwydians beside the Baron and Sir William, and Sir William's busy for the Duke, so guess we could take and see the Baron, I guess. But we gotta set him down and straighten him on, there's this wall that's going to kill him and his dragon if he tries to leave, and there are these really bad autumn people that are basically walking banal bitches that want to control everything and are keeping us here, so we got to punch them in the face. Or
I
we
just
could
want
do
to
it.
say,
Or we
sorry.
could do what I did last time, and I could just rip off a door and throw it at them. That was fun.
Urbane shrugs, and I just want to state, like, he made sure to do this while they were in an area of the freehold or whatever they're in for the Baroness. That's not, like, there's just not people around, like, while they're walking down a corridor or something.
Right.
And we'll
Okay, I was about to ask that.
yeah, he's a she. He can do political thingies sometimes, kind of, maybe.
Ask for a
And-
perk alert.
And then there's honest to a fault Bainu walking with him of House Beaumain that's like, I do things for the good of everybody.
Yeah, he's a noted political person, and he will take Bainu to find Canthos at that point. And he will just say as they're walking, "We can fill him in as we are attempting to find a member of esteemed House Gwydion."
Isn't Gwydion your house?
He kind of chuckles. "No, my dear Bainu, I am a member of a far less grand origins than House Gwydion."
I feel like I should know this. Fiona?
He nods.
That's right. Wow, you and Adam being of the same house. That's funny. Oh, sorry, Phoenix. He was called Phoenix before he, fucked off.
He tilts his head to the side. "Phoenix. Yes, that does sound like something one of my more extreme brothers would do."
That's saying something. He was executed for carrying a sword that was basically a violation of the sheet. I don't know how he got it. I just know that when it was around, a lot of the different supernatural types either wanted to kill him or ran away screaming. So, yeah.
Just the very edge of his lip just curls ever so slightly downward, but then he nods. "Come, we must find Canthos.
Right.
You can tell me tales of Sir Adam later."
I didn't know him very well. For some reason, Riker wanted me to stay away from him.
He just nods.
And then my last changeling character got Riker, so all is good in the universe.
Technically, you didn't get him. You set him up to be executed.
Yeah, I did. Anyway, so yes, at this point, Canthos will be walking down the stairs, smiling happily. Everything is good in the world of Canthos right now.
He's probably being led through by the same Boggin.
He will thank the bargain, and he will tip the bargain. He will give the bargain. By the way, do we get paid dross daily, or do we get it paid by a month, or how does that work?
The way that they updated it, it's every month we get a stipend, and your stipend is determined by your rank. But I think even commoners get.
We also get it for having freeholds and such.
Yeah.
So I was just wondering. Okay. He will basically, in that case, he will write a small IOU for 3 dross that can be collected at the end of the month, because he wants to tip the bucket. Good bucket.
She'll smile widely and thank him before scurrying off back to doing whatever she was doing previously.
Cool. So Canthos will smile and bow once again to the 2 squires, and he will say, "Oh, hello there again, gentlemen."
Just an inclined head.
I trust your accommodations are worthy of your position, which is kind of him attempting a burn.
He smiles and says, "Oh yes, they're absolutely fine. Thank you for asking." You're not sure if he's oblivious or doesn't care.
He's going to assume you just don't care. So, Bunny's just like, okay, so we're going to go take you to the Baron of the Gwydion so that he's the kind of the right hand of the Duke. So best him, kind of get a feel for you, and also make sure that your arrival is noted as well. While we're doing that, we're gonna talk to you about a few things. What do you know about a group called the Technocracy?
I assume they're not some kind of retro 1980s Japanese punk band.
I don't get the reference.
Okay. It's okay.
No, the Technocracy are bad. Think of what would you know what mages are, right?
I have a rough idea.
Think of what would happen if you had Dantean mages that made their magic through technocracy, through technology, so everybody figured it was just some form of science and not actual magic. So nobody shouted, "I don't believe in fairies" at it, and it didn't blow up.
As you say, I don't believe in fairies. He clutches his heart and comically falls over before brushing himself off and standing up.
Bunny's just gonna clap his hands, like slow clap.
He'll get up and bow. Thank you. I'm here all week.
But yeah, they make technology work in ways that it's not supposed to, but that it's okay for everybody. Well, they put up this big invisible wall around the city that lets supernaturals in, but doesn't let them out.
Okie dokie.
From what I've been told, if you try to leave, you will be turned into a pile of dust, and then the dust will be turned into a pile of motes of light, and the motes of light will be sent to subatomic particle status, I think is what somebody said.
I have no idea what any of that except piles of dust means, but I'm with you. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that includes your dragon.
Okay.
So don't fly out of the city.
Okay.
Matter of fact, he's going to walk outside. He's going to point up. Since we're still in the dreaming, he's going to point up to the sky, and you're going to see a shimmer.
I was wondering what that was.
Yeah. So all the supernaturals in the city decided that sucks, and we're going to work together to destroy it. And
Good plan.
There's a council of peoples, and every supernatural group, well, all the ones that matter, have a speaker. We have a speaker. It's Duke Arth. The dead people have a speaker. His name is Hironori Satoshi. The shape changers have a speaker. Her name is Felicia Cervantes. And then the mages have a speaker. His name is Atrian DeSalle. And he's a nice guy, except that he likes to blow things up in ways that aren't magical, but are still kind of cool.
Okay.
But he's a very powerful magician.
Okay, got it.
Like, I understand that there were Lunid in the city that felt inadequate around him.
I would feel inadequate too.
The dead don't feed on us. The werewolves don't rip us up. The mages don't suck out our glamour and use it for their own weird stuff. The werewolves don't kill the vampires, and everybody's working together.
Okay, so we should all start singing Kumbaya then, yeah?
No, we should all start figuring a way to get the wall down. Angela was able to find out where one of their main power bases are. Now we're just waiting for everybody to figure out how the hell we're going to destroy it.
Very well.
Unfortunately, it's not in the city.
Well, he will sweep into a low courtly bow again, and he was. By the way, what is the name of what is Britain called as a kingdom again? I know it's split up. I'm sorry. What is England called as a kingdom?
I think it's Britannia. Give me a minute.
Well, just second. I am almost right there.
Albion.
England? Yeah. Albion.
Well, as I've said, I'm the finest sword in Albion, so you can count me ready and at your disposal, sir.
Binding's going to look at your sword. Is it a real sword, or is it a... He's going to tap his bracer's sword.
But he's not actually wearing a sword.
Oh.
He actually, as a matter of fact, as you look, he has a violin and a bow for a violin strapped to his belt, hanging down. He will say, I can fight with any sword you deign to give me, but I've never been beaten, so I suppose that makes me good.
Well, these technocrats walk around in giant suits of armor when they want to, kill people.
Mm-hmm.
And Bainu's going to place his hand full arm's length over his head, and he's about 8'7", 8'8".
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to say, taller than that.
Okay.
And made out of some weird metal. So
it sounds like it will be a great adventure.
Bainu's just going to raise an eyebrow. Right, adventure. Because, hell, there's not things I need to be doing, like, walking through the dreaming and hunting down nightmares, or punching Thelaine in the face, or throwing doors at people and watching them, die. But, we all got to do our own thing.
How to explain to you? By the way, what do you like to be called? Should I call you Squire? Should I call you Binding? What's the preferred form of address?
Binding's going to look at Arbane. And he's going to shrug his shoulders like he doesn't know.
Arbane just kind of looks at him. Tell him how you would like to be addressed.
Everybody just calls me Bainu, even though we're supposed to be called Magni Gulbrant. But everybody knows me as Bainu ever since I woke up and I got rescued.
Oh, I see. But in that case, may I call you Bainu?
Okay. But in court, you better call me Squire, or somebody might punch you in the head. And trust me, that somebody won't be me.
I don't like being punched in the head, so I think that's entirely fair. But think about it like this, Bainu. Think about all the old stories, all the things that make us special. Well, if they were easy, they'd be forgotten about. If Jack and Jill only had to, I don't know, walk up and down the hill one time, or if there was an escalator that went up the beanstalk, then it wouldn't be a story. So the bigger they are, the harder they fall, and the better the story it makes when all the dust settles.
Bunny's just going to nod his head and say, right.
She, for his part, he's been walking along quietly, his hands clasped in front of him. And he's just kind of pondering the other she's words, trying to figure out why the Unseelie is being so seelie. He's very sus. And then
so that's basically a breakdown of what's going on in the city. There's some wooded areas to the west near the edge of the island. Don't go there. Don't go into the Shadowlands. Don't go into the Umbra.
Don't know what that is.
If you meet a guy by the name of Gravedigger, do not promise to give him your soul when you die.
Okie dokie.
I'm trying to think what else is dangerous. Oh, if you don't go to the Innovatech building, because apparently if you go inside, they'll turn you into an experiment.
Ew.
That's where the Technocracy are. Also, the Technocracy apparently has control over the government of this city, the People's Liberation Army, and the Hong Kong PD. So odds are good that if you get arrested, you're going to get handed over to them. So don't do that. Because we had to rescue a red cap that got left behind by his boss. And to be fair, it was fun. I got to throw a door at somebody, and it.
Whoa! What do you mean by left behind?
Oh, his boss told him to do something that caught the attention of the Technocracy.
Okay.
And so he got arrested and given to them. And his boss didn't work up an escape plan or didn't try to rescue him. So
he abandoned the Changeling?
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Apparently, he fixed that issue and fixed another issue where there's a museum in the city that is about arcane stuff and witchcraft and cool things like that, and it's a neutral ground because that's where the council meets. This same changeling decided to be all proud and awesome and completely deface it, using terms that are changeling friendly but not normal people friendly, in a place that's open to the public.
But why would he destroy the history? That makes me
No,
sad.
he was just
Because
covering
he
up with
is
stuff.
Redcap.
Because he's a moron. Moron.
Okay.
Did I spell that right? I'm sure I spelled that right. But yeah, so because of his friend being captured, myself, Sir Nathan Adams, Sir William Harcourt, and Sir Loin of Beef, we had to break in there and save him. Oh,
I'm sorry,
and
his
Duke
name
Arthur
is.
was
Whoa. His name is Sirloin of Beef. That's amazing.
he's a very nice guy. He's a troll like me. And
I like that.
Duke Arthur went with us too, and he was a badass. But I think the awesomest thing was when I, ripped the door off the hinges and threw it at this guy wearing this weird backpack and boots and gloves. We saved the red cap and got him out of there and got him someplace where he could heal. They were doing something to him in there where he couldn't use his powers, and that was very unnice.
Well, as I said, if you wouldn't mind, Mr. Bynewman, I'll ask the others. Would you mind if I made that into a song?
You should probably ask the others as well. I'm the least notable person that was on that mission. And Arbane, you wanted to say something? I mean, Squire Arbane of Fiona, you wanted to say something?
He just kind of waves his hand. Just call me Arbane. It rather worries me that someone can so flagrantly breach the Ashit and be appropriately punished.
No, he was apparently punished appropriately, according to Duke Arth and according to, apparently he made amends with the dead that was the owner of the museum and built it for the sole purpose of being protected. I shouldn't call them dead. They call themselves the House of Staves, so I should call them the House of Staves. Adriana, she looks okay, but she's dead.
It was more the manner of leaving behind another Cathane, openly rescue.
Oh yeah. Well, when I found out, I was like, "You mean there's been no?" I mean, I didn't even know, and Sir Adams, I believe he knew, but didn't have a chance to bring it up. And I think Duke Arth knew, but he was waiting for the red cap in question to do the right thing. But when I found out, I immediately demanded right of rescue on him, because you don't leave people like that. Could you imagine what would happen if, when I chrysalis, I had just been left there?
By the way, as you say this, Kratos, he's taken out his violin, and he started to play a very sad song as we walk. And he has 5 successes in his performance role. So it's a very nice but very sad song.
Bunny's just going to shudder. I don't even want to think about what would happen if Des, Dahi, Riker, Charlie, and the cold guy with the shadows didn't show up to save me. I couldn't just let, somebody else suffer that sort of thing.
This is true. And the fact that one breaches right of rescue is unforgivable, in my opinion at least.
Well, you're welcome to take it up with the Duke, but apparently he did something. He made amends with the Duke, or did something with the court. Me personally, I'd like to use him as a weapon the next time I have to fight anybody.
Arbane just kind of gets this little bit of a glint in his eye, and he says, "And the nobility define the Ashit then?"
No, I don't think they're defying the Ashit. I believe that they appropriately punished him.
Perhaps.
I just I have my opinions on what I would do to somebody like that. And just as I'm sure you have your opinions on what you would do to somebody like that. And fortunately, he's not of any particular station to where I should guard my tongue on what I would do to him.
He continues to play a sad song.
Arbane just kind of signals and signal. It's almost like this, where his hands are clasped. He just kind of waves one hand very gently to Bainu. But that is a discussion best had in private. We do have some image to maintain.
Oh, right. Sorry. Magni keeps saying that I need to learn how to be more squire-like if I'm ever going to be a knight.
If it helps, I don't know you very well, but I think you'd make a rather fine knight. He says as he stops playing the violin.
Well, I'm hopeful. I mean,
You're
I have been
honest,
doing...
and you're honest, and it seems like you care an awful lot. Those are two good qualities right there.
Well, there's no reason to lie to anybody. I mean, we're all friends. And I've spent most of my life taking care of people.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that I could remember. Though I was made to do... And Bainu's going to shut his mouth. Said, I'm not supposed to talk about it because Sir Nathan Adams says if I talk about it, I give people nightmares.
Probably best you don't talk about it then.
Bainu's going to
So,
nod.
you wanted me to go and see the wonderful Baron of Gwydion, the wonderful Gwydion the Baron?
Yes, let's go. We're almost there.
Okay.
Bainu's just going to lead him off to where the main Gwydion house is, because this was also somebody that was wanting Bainu under his banner at one point, or her banner. I can't remember. I think Kim 1 made all of her barons female.
I'm gonna be 100% real with you. I don't see a Baron of House Gwydion on this sheet, so I don't know what the fuck I'm supposed to do.
Well, then we can
I'll make one up.
We can just have her meet up with William Harcourt. The only problem is that it's an NPC that I portray. So,
Well, if you're happy to do it, I don't mind meeting him.
Okay.
I don't know if Kim's got the Baron Gwydion on another sheet or what, but it's not on the main NPC list, so...
Is it on
If that's
the rumor thread?
Because I think the only reason that, out of character, the only reason that Joey wants me to meet this Gwydion is so he can basically use ultimate truth powers on me.
I mean, kind of. Arbane is super sus about this Leonin. So
He's nothing but nice to you.
I'm so suspicious. He's unseelie, and he's a Leonin.
Unseelie can be nice.
Lies, heresy. Court racism, 'tis a thing.
Oh my god, Kim, you're not the only fantasy racist.
Motherfucker.
Let me see if I can... All right, so Kim, I'll portray him. You use you can use Sir William's sheet, but I will basically I'll portray him. You make the dice rolls, okay?
Oh boy. Okay.
If I can, gotta remember a few things about him. There we are, Sir William Bill Harcourt. So Bainu is going to take you to a small bar that's very cozy and intimate and is only populated with Fae. You're standing behind the bar. If I can remember where he is. I used to have a overlay for him. I don't think I have it anymore. You remember Carl Urban's character from Lord of the Rings, right?
Yes.
Elmer? That's him standing behind the bar, making drinks and tending to people's, basically listening to people making drinks. Standing beside him is a pool cue. It is the only weapon in the bar, and it is a leaf-bladed spear that is surrounded by mist.
Ooh, pretty.
Sir Bill's going to be like, Squire Bainu, Squire Arbane, And you have somebody new with you today, I see. Sit down. What can I get you to drink? Bunny's going to sit down. He's going to say, I'm going to have a chocolate milkshake with a bacon double cheeseburger and cheesy bacon fries. He'll
Out of character. Is this what happened to, like, just my character doesn't know, but I'm curious. Is this what the remains of the Emerald Mother?
No, this is a completely separate bar. The Emerald Mother got turned into a children's shelter and orphanage.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay.
So he'll write down Bainu's order, and then he'll look at Arbane. And for you, good squire.
He'll shake his head. No, thank you. I do not require anything to eat or drink. Over to Canthos Nightshade of House Lianen, as he just kind of gestures over towards the other she. Arrived in the city, and I thought a good drink might help. A good discussion with one of the elder knights of the city.
Hmm.
Do I have
Your-
expression?
Pardon?
I'm thinking to myself. No, I don't.
It's very nice to meet you, noble knight.
Oh,
Very nice
not
to
his
meet you
head.
indeed.
And by the way, he is she as well,
Mhm.
and he is Grump. So,
We're both grumps.
Yeah.
Grumps.
no, nod his head. And I am Sir William Harcourt, Knight of the House Squidian, defender of this kingdom. Well, dukedom. That was an interesting little period of time. And sworn knight to Duke Arth. Please, what can I get for you?
Oh, I'll have a white Russian, please, thank you.
Didn't expect you to be a teetotaler. And
Why
he'll
is
go
that?
down and he'll mix up a white Russian. So basically, you know why he said that, right?
No, why?
He basically is equating your drink to being something that's equivalent to tea.
Nice.
He'll mix you up a white Russian, set it down. A very attractive looking Eshu commoner will walk out with the burger and fries for Bainu, and he'll set down a big ass chocolate milkshake right in front of him, and Bainu's just like looks so happy and starts eating. So, Mr. Nightshade, what
Mhm.
brings you to our happy little hole?
Oh, a multitude of things, really. Well, I was told to come here, you see, but also there was a dragon, and to be frank, the nickname they gave me in London was the Dragon Tamer, so I'm here to see what I can do about that to make sure it doesn't constantly flatten your changeling market, which appears to be lovely, by the way.
Yes, we are quite proud of our changeling market, even every single time that's had to be rebuilt. Well,
Arbane is like slightly behind Canthos out of his sight range. He's just kind of looking between the knight and Canthos while they're talking. I just wanted to mention.
okay. Well, dragon taming is not something that is easily come across, and well, I'm sure you already understand that there's a difference between dragons from where you're from and the dragon that's currently
I
running around
understand.
like a puppy dog.
I understand, but it's about not necessarily okay. How to explain? When you've got so much power and so much raw ferocity, but yet that gentle inner core, it's about helping the two become one and marrying them together. It's not that. It's just a matter of patience and understanding how, and not being afraid to dodge a fire blast every now and again. And I know that they're different creatures, but in the end, they're both beautiful, fierce, noble, and both terrible and great, both at once. So we'll see how it goes.
Interesting words. I'm sure that the two squires before you have briefed you on the unique situation we face within this domain.
Uh-huh. They have indeed. I think it sounds like an excellent story.
We're all stories in the end, aren't we?
Hopefully, but in the end, I like to think that we'll end on and they all lived happily ever after, rather than a not, frankly.
Happily ever after is what the church required of certain storytellers to make sure they did not frighten children in their beds. You're not here to frighten any children, are you?
No, I quite like kids.
All right. Go ahead and roll his perception empathy.
If you're trying to detect if I'm lying, your special ability is kenning, not empathetic.
Kenning.
Oh, perception kenning then.
Yes, because that is the Gwydion boon.
It doesn't make any sense to me, though. It's basically
This-
just a different pool for your you roll perceptive kenning instead of empathy. But I could still roll manipulation subterfuge at my normal diff to resist. So is it just literally combining two things into one?
Yeah, it seems like it.
Yeah.
The thing is that this sheet needs to be updated. I don't know why Kim didn't update this for the change.
In
But
fact, to use the boon, you have to roll against it. So
yeah. So you do have to roll
Therefore,
your manipulations.
the STs could vary the diff, but really one of the worst house boons.
Yeah, I know. I still prefer the Bowmain boon. Okay, so you are telling the truth?
Mhm.
Okay. He'll nod his head. That's good to hear. So he's going to set down the White Russian in front of you. It's going to be expert, and it's going to be stronger than you expect it to be.
That's fine. He kind of swirls it around in the glass, or in the glass before taking a sip through the straw and smiling. Thank you very much.
And he's just... The bacon double cheeseburger's gone, and he's working on the fries now.
And I understand. I'm not an idiot, he says, smiling. I'm really not. You know, I might come off as happy-go-lucky, and I guess I am. And how best to phrase? He doesn't turn around to look at Arbane, but he says, "Look, if you don't trust me, that's fine. I don't expect you to. I'm just a blow-in who came in from nowhere. But, you know, how to explain?"
It's not that I don't trust you, it's just that I've heard people claim to not be wanting to scare kids and then do something completely horrifying in front of them. So I have to take what most people give me face value, but that doesn't mean that I'm not unused to scouring for deeper truths.
No, it's not that. Right, so they brought me to meet a baron. They brought me to meet the Eshu Baroness, who's a lovely lady. And then they wanted me to go and meet the Gwydion Baron, but he was indisposed, so they brought me here. It's because they want to see if I'm lying or not. It's pretty obvious.
Binu just looks over at you and says, well, you didn't want to come here to meet him?
Oh, I've got no problem meeting someone. But I'd rather meet him because he's a friendly person, or because we can have drinks, or because there's a story there, or because, I don't know, we randomly bump into each other on a street one given Thursday, 1946, and we decide to share a newspaper. But bringing you to meet someone, no matter how nice they are, so they can basically see if you're lying or not, that's not a good first step towards friendship.
Binu's just going to shrug. Honestly, I just thought maybe I've known Bill longer than anybody else besides, the people that used to be here. So I know he's a very good judge of character. And I figure if he says you're okay, you're okay. Besides, I haven't eaten like this in about 3 days, and it's really good.
Well, in
Want
that
something?
case, no, I'm fine. In that case, I shall hope, Sir Knight, that you find me to be a genuinely okay person.
I've known some Leonin in the past. Some were whimsical, some were inventive. Some set my blood on fire, in the good way, not the bad way. So, when I say that you are perhaps a rare treat amongst your housemates, understand that I mean that in a complimentary way.
Thank you. Means a lot. As I said,
However, I am eternally watchful, so do not mistake my kindness towards you. Should you do anything unworthy of the trust of this dukedom, I will probably be amongst the first to claim your head.
I rather like my head where it is. My neck has gotten rather attached to it. So I don't think that will be happening, but thank you for the warning.
I said, by the way, he does have his intimidation spec is in veiled threats. That one was a bit more
excellent.
obvious.
But I love having weird specs and things. But no, he'll smile and he'll take some more of his drink before saying.
By
It
the way,
seems to me that.
by the way, just so you know, you are drinking a Crafts 5 White Russian.
Ooh, I'll never look at another White Russian the same way. But no, he'll nod and he'll say, "I get the sense that this dukedom, well, we called it a kingdom, then a dukedom. Now it's a dukedom anyway, a duchy, whatever. I sense it has a lot of scars. I think that there might be a lot of pain, so I can understand people being very wary of newcomers."
There have been more newcomers as of late than before, but you are correct. There have been quite a lot of scars upon him. It was a dukie to begin with under the Fiona, and then she was assassinated alongside her knight. At which point, a count decided to become a king. Well, when Duke Arth came in, he quickly rectified that situation. And so here we are at Dookie again.
Well, I can understand. Sometimes people want to claw and bribe and scheme and steal their way to power. It's not necessarily fun, but the way of the world, I suppose.
I've often found that you can trust people that are willing to take a drink from you. Though my position as a bartender does tend to make that a little bit expected. However, initial assessment is you've passed.
Thank you.
He's going to look over Arbene's shoulder and say, "Are you sure you don't want anything?"
I'll shake his head and smile. No, thank you, Sir Knight. I am quite well. I have training to go to later, so I'd like to go on an empty stomach.
He'll nod his head, and you'll notice now that Bainu has not only finished the fries, but he is halfway through the milkshake. It's good to
At
see
least-
your appetite hasn't changed after your mentor's death. No, I think it's gotten bigger.
Well, look on the bright side. At least you've got room to put it in.
Bainu he'll stop drinking the milkshake long enough to say, "I'm very strong," and then he'll go back to drinking the milkshake.
So, smiling, actually turning around to look at Arbane, the Nightshade will say, "You train, Squire."
He'll smile back. Very, very bright, friendly smile. It's the sort of smile, though, that two she give each other, so it's very nice, but also got that undercurrent of, yes, I'm watching you. You know? He'll say, yes, I summon to mundanes. And supernaturals, if they so desire.
How very interesting. I'll have to test your skills at some point. As I said, I'm the greatest swordsman in Albion.
He inclines his head. Yes, Albion. How is it there?
It depends. The weather is shit. Food is nice. People are pleasant. The weather is shit.
He just kind of nods. Yes, that goes much in line with what I've heard. And do I have subterfuge on this character? No, I don't. Okay.
Bunny's going to finish the milkshake and set it down. Kim, if you actually want to bring in Alistair, I mean, you can.
Yeah, unless you want to drop plot on us. There's really no reason you need to stay as Musty unless you want to drop plot.
No, actually, I think if that's all and there's nothing else, I'm gonna probably head out because I do have there was that other thing that I need to do.
Yeah, I was about to duck out as well once I got everything straightened out. So
Okay. Well, that's been a nice introduction scene. I mean, we can end it here if you'd like.
sounds good to me. You guys okay with it? Bainu's basically going to pay Bill, and he's going to say, "I have to go train with Doors," and then he's going to leave.
By the way, before you leave, I won't let you pay. He will insist on paying for your meal because you were so nice and showing him around.
Oh, okay. Bainu's just going to say, "I need to hang out with you more often." He's going to leave.
All right.
But yeah,
so,
he did literally say, "I've got to go train with Doors."
Yeah, we just accept
Okay.
this.
Arbane will escort Nightshade back to his residency before he heads off.
And
Very genial when he does so, but he will escort him back.
As he walks back up to his room, Kathos will smile before he walks in on the room and kind of pets Conrad, who's reading a book. As he says, "I think this city is going to be interesting. I think it's going to be very interesting indeed." And with that, we shall close this.
I can't